and don'ts.
I cannot even begin to tell you how much bad quality CCTV we end up seeing on CrimeCall. People who bought the camera, screwed it to the side of the wall, thought that the job was done, except it's not. So I've come to find out how we should be doing it properly.
Paul, how are you?
Philip, nice to meet you. How are you?
Wow, that is high quality image.
Essentially, this is the standard of CCTV we can expect today for everything from residential to small commercial, industrial type systems.
I noticed out of the corner of my eye that one of the cameras at the front is one of those ones that can move on a motor. Why do you go for those?
These cameras now have technology built in. The green square is picking up the person walking into the car park and automatically tracks them as they walk across the path.
Does that mean then that you can do away with the need for multiple cameras?
In areas like this, yes, you can see here where we can pause and we can zoom in and we can get very, very clear close-up detail of that person.
We're also continually surprised by the number of people who allow blockages to get in the way of the camera.
You can clearly see here, Philip, the leaf and the tree, the way it covers the screen, and it's actually obscured the view of this guy walking across the scene with no meaningful evidence being able to obtain from that camera.
Branches is a kind of an obvious one though, but there's other less obvious things.
Because of the heat source on the cameras, you note, sometimes have little red illuminators around them for night vision. It's a nice place for spiders to go and webs and so on and so forth, and that obstructs views. In time, cameras will drift slightly, so it all points back to having your system regularly maintained. This is a typical retail application where we have 4 cameras installed, all high definition CCTV cameras. Each one has its own clear objective in terms of this camera here, focusing on the door area, and as people enter the shop you can see very clearly which direction they go. Next camera essentially is giving us a kind of an overview of the shop floor. Next camera over here is focusing more on the till. Again, a lot of activity generally happens around here. We go full screen if we think this is an area of interest, and also use a zoom feature to get us in closer to see actually what's happening. And we've got a situation here where we can actually observe somebody taking something and leaving the premises.
And are you obliged then as a property owner or a business owner to hold on to these recordings?
Well, a lot of retailers, business people will typically use the 28 to 30 day rule in accordance with data protection. Generally, if there's going to be an incident, it's going to happen within that window.
So can you give me then, before we leave, the top tips, the 3 do's and don'ts?
The first thing they need to do is to engage a professional licensed company. On from there, it's to conduct a proper risk assessment of your property. For people using mobile devices to check their CCTV from home, make sure that the passwords are changed regularly. Make sure you're happy with the evidential quality footage that comes off the system and that you can use it. Camera locations, make sure that they're not low, that people can interfere, or they're not going to be prone to obstruction from signage and possibly deny you the image that you should get to solve a crime or an incident on your property.
Kelvin, what would you add to that?
Well, there was good advice there, but what I would add to it is CCTV is just part of your overall security solution. It's important that that a CCTV camera won't stop a burglar or a robber coming into your shop or into your home, so it's important to concentrate on physical security as well as CCTV.
And make sure it is physically secure, so it's not one of the things that thieves take.
Exactly, the hardware is one of the things that they'll target, or if it's a system that's run over the internet, make sure that you change up your passwords, that you don't use default passwords. That's very important.
The 0000 should be changed regularly. If you are a retailer, are you obliged to tell people that they're being filmed, even if it's only CCTV?
If you're capturing recognisable images, that's data. So you have obligations under the Data Protection Act. So yes, you're supposed to put up signage that warns people that when they're coming into your premises that there is CCTV in operation.
Which is a deterrent for thieves as well, presumably. You say be clear about your expectations. What do you mean?
Discuss your CCTV plan with, we'd recommend a licensed installer, because at least you're going to get an idea of how many cameras you need for your premises, what sort of cameras you need, how much are you going to spend on that, what sort of images are you getting. As you've seen on the programme tonight, we get some good images or some bad images, so it's important to check that what's coming through your camera on your wall of your house, what's coming down that you're downloading is a good image that we can use.
All right, Kelvin, thank you very much, and plenty more good advice on this and other safety matters on The Garda.